What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're finally sitting down to make sense of Columbina's entire kit, because let's be real, when these massive character reveals drop, especially ones that introduce totally new mechanics, it can feel like you're trying to read alien text. So in this video, I'm walking you through everything Columbina does, how her abilities actually work, why the community is absolutely losing their minds over her, and how she might just reshape team building once she goes live. By the end of this, you'll have a crystal clear understanding of what she's meant to do, where her strengths lie, and how she stacks up against characters we already know and love. Oh, and of course, we gotta talk about why everyone's so hyped. But before we dive deep, a quick word if you're already eyeing Columbina, but feeling short on primos. Let me introduce you to lootbar.gg. Right now, you can grab 6,480 Genesis crystals with their 6.2 limited pack for only $79. New users can get an extra 10% discount, while returning users get 5%. The link is in the description. All right, let's get into it. First thing you need to understand about Columbina. She is not your typical Hydro character. Most Hydro units in Genshin lean into one lane: healing, buffing, off-field application, or personal damage. Columbina? She's got pieces of all of those, but she bundles them into something completely new, built around what the game is calling lunar reactions. These are special, upgraded versions of normal elemental interactions. Think electrocharged, bloom, and hydrocrystallization, but with a cosmic twist. So you might be thinking, okay, so is she another reaction enabler like Nilou or Farina? And honestly, she does share some DNA with them, but the way she goes about it is wildly different. Let's start with her normal attacks. Pretty straightforward. Up to 3 hydro-infused hits. Nothing too fancy. But her charged attack is where things immediately get interesting. Normally, it's just an AoE hydro splash. But when she has something called Verdant Dew active, that charged attack stops being hydro and instead unleashes a 3-hit dendro wave called Mundo Purge. And here's the critical part. That dendro damage isn't just dendro. It's explicitly treated as lunar bloom reaction damage. So even though she's a Hydro character, she can output dendro-flavored reaction damage on command. This is exactly why people online are screaming. She's basically the first character who can deal multiple elements directly like this. Now, her elemental skill is where everything really pops off. She summons something called a gravitational ripple. This little watery field follows your active character around, dealing continuous hydro damage in an area. Think of it like a ghostly, floating aura that sticks with you. That alone makes her feel amazing for anyone who loves easy off-field hydro application. But the real magic is how this ripple interacts with reactions happening around you. Whenever anyone in your party triggers a lunar reaction, or deals lunar reaction damage, Columbina starts gaining stacks of something called New Moon's Omen. Every few seconds, this builds up what's called gravity. Once gravity caps out, her skill triggers another mechanic named tidal interference, and this is where she goes absolutely wild. Depending on which lunar reaction was triggered the most during that window, the interference fires off as a different elemental attack. If electrocharged was dominant, she releases AoE electro damage. If it was bloom, she fires out multiple tracking bloom hits called Mundo Marks. And if it was hydrocrystallization, she unleashes AoE geo damage. Let that sink in. She's a single character who can throw out hydro, dendro, electro, and geo damage, depending on what your team is doing. If you've played Genshin for a while, you know how unheard of that is. The only character with anything even close is Child, but Columbina does it in a way that's deeply tied to reactions and team synergy. Honestly, it's like that old Hydro Archon gravity kit meme suddenly came true. People thought Farina would have gravity mechanics, but it turns out the idea was real, just on a different unit. Her burst continues this theme, but layers in serious supportive power. When you cast it, she creates a moonlit domain. While you're fighting inside, your whole party gets bonus lunar reaction damage. That's huge, because most supports buff normal elemental damage, EM, or attack. Columbina specifically amplifies the damage of these new lunar reactions. If you've ever loved characters like Kazuha, Sucrose, Nahida, or Furina for how they boost your entire team at once, Columbina steps into that same elite category, but for this brand new reaction system. And the uptime? Absolutely insane. The domain lasts 20 seconds on a 15-second cooldown, giving her near-permanent uptime, which we all love, because nothing feels worse than waiting for your buff window to come back mid-rotation. Now, her passives give us even more clarity on how she wants to be played. After every tidal interference trigger, she gains extra crit rate for a short time. Great if you want her to contribute personal damage while supporting. Another passive gives bonus effects inside her burst, depending on which reaction type is dominant. Electro-charged teams get faster Stormcloud attacks, Bloom teams get free Verdant Dew for her special charged attack, and Hydrocrystallization teams get extra defensive resonance strikes. She even has a charming and low-key broken passive tied to the new region, where she can revive a fallen character once every long cooldown. That part scales with her friendship level, which the community instantly memed into the power of friendship. It fits her vibe perfectly and adds a nice safety net without turning her into a healer. But her last passive might be the biggest deal of all. When your party triggers a normal electro-charged bloom or hydrocrystallization, she can automatically convert them into the lunar versions. This is massive. It means she isn't locked into teams that already have lunar-capable characters. She takes ordinary reactions and upgrades them just by being there. That completely removes the fear that she might be too restrictive or dependent on specific teammates. Oh, and she also increases the whole party's lunar reaction damage based on her max HP, which means building her could be incredibly easy since HP stacking is one of the most accessible stat paths in the game. Now let's talk constellations, because they follow the same smart design as her base kit, smoothing out her playstyle and cranking up her power without changing her core identity. C1 is a quality-of-life boost. Every time she uses her skill, she instantly triggers one tidal interference, without needing to build gravity first. It's a small tweak that guarantees a reaction pulse right out of the gate. Depending on the lunar reaction type, she also hands out different bonuses. Electro-charged setups get free energy, Bloom teams gain interruption resistance, and Crystallization teams get a small shield scaling off her HP. Subtle, but it makes her feel smoother and more comfortable. C2 leans into team buffs. When tidal interference activates, her max HP increases, and since her reaction bonuses scale with HP, she instantly gets stronger. She also buffs the active character based on the reaction. Electro-charged teams get increased attack based on her HP, Bloom setups get extra EM, and Crystallization teams get bonus defense. It's a flexible constellation that adapts to whatever team you're running. C4 pushes her numbers up. Every tidal interference refunds some energy and increases its damage based on her max HP. The Bloom version gets a smaller boost, while Electro-charged and Geo get bigger ones. Nothing flashy, but it makes rotations smoother and her personal damage more noticeable. C6 is the dramatic finisher. Whenever someone triggers a lunar reaction inside her burst's domain, the whole team gets a massive crit damage boost for that element, for a few seconds. It doesn't stack, but it's a huge spike during reaction-heavy windows, and she tops it off with an extra bump to the team's lunar reaction damage. It's the kind of final constellation that ties her entire identity together. Overall, her constellations don't change who she is, they just make her better at it. Even at C0, she feels complete and functional. The cons just polish and amplify the same core playstyle, enabling reactions, amplifying them, and keeping your team flowing smoothly. So, that's Columbina, a hydro unit that bends elements, upgrades reactions on the fly, and brings unprecedented flexibility to team building. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure you're subscribed for more breakdowns, patch previews, and team discussions. Let me know in the comments what part of her kit surprised you the most. And before we wrap up, I've got 2 Welkin Moons to give away to 2 of you. All you have to do to enter is like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below telling me which reaction team you'd run with Columbina first. I'll pick the winners from this video's comment section. If you're already set on pulling for her but need a Primogem boost, don't forget to check out lootbar.gg. You can grab 6,480 Genesis crystals with their 6.2 limited pack for only $79, and new users get 10% off. Existing users can use a coupon for up to 5% discount. Link is in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.